everybody, my name is Joey. I'm so glad you're here. It is a Saturday morning. I still have a little bit of coffee left. And before I start today's project, it's spring. Spring is in full bloom, no pun intended. And in case you didn't see this video, I am just a little bit obsessed with this piece that I did. It is a beautiful beaded bouquet stick pin. And I just loved it so much. I got up this morning and I just couldn't stop looking at it. It was so fun to make and it turned out so great. I actually pinned it on my pajamas and I was wearing it around the house, drinking my coffee with my little spring bouquet pinned onto my pajamas. So you can laugh at me if you want to. But my friend Stella at DD Beads, she saw this and she said, wouldn't that be beautiful to make for someone on top of a gift box? And it gave me the idea, and I think I'm going to make another one. And I just thought I would share it if you liked this project, but you wouldn't wear a pin. Any kind of a little glass trinket box or jewelry box. Sometimes you find them at the dollar store. If you're in America, we have a lot of discount department stores, but even thrift shops, you can find vintage pressed glass little trinket boxes. And I think I'm going to do another one of these little bouquets for one of my bead boxes, and no stick pin, and use the E6000 glue to glue it on the top. So I do have flowers on the brain. In Florida, we joke that we only have one season, and it is sort of true. We're already in the mid to upper 80s here, but it does feel spring. There's a little breeze and it feels different. And I am a flowery girl all the time. I always love flowers. But today's project is going to be another flower project, but a little bit different. It's got a lot of components in the project. So I'm going to start off by showing you my base necklace. Let me take my needle and thread off of the tray and set it aside for now. So I have created a base necklace here, and I've done all the stringing off camera because nobody needs to watch somebody string, 30 inches of seed beads. But I just created a loop at the end of this strand, at the end of my bead stringing wire, and I did a magical crimp here with a number 2 crimping plier, and then I used some hex seed beads, some gold crystal lined seed beads, some galvanized 8/0 seed beads, and I just did this little pattern through the entire length of a hex, 5 crystal seed beads, a rocaille, 5 crystal seed beads, a hex, and like all the way through. And I'm just going to show you how I did the loop and crimped this end. And let me also show you this package because I don't have very much left. This material that you see is 49 strand in the gold color. It is an Econoflex, so it's a very flexible, almost fabric-like bead stringing wire. And this beautiful gold is out of stock right now, but they do have something similar that looks just like sterling silver. And I have another project coming up where I'm going to do that, but you just can't beat this bead stringing wire. So I thought I would share that with you. I hope the Softflex people get that back in stock soon because I want more. So I'm going to just finish this off. I know this looks strange as a necklace to have 2 loops on both sides, but let me do the little magical crimp here. Number 2 crimp tube, and I'm also using the Softflex crimp tubes because they are the best. These are gold filled. They don't tarnish. I don't know how it's very small, but they have a very thick wall as opposed to some of the knockoff brands. And I'm just going to make a loop on this end. I finished my stringing pattern with one of my hex beads because my Softflex wire goes back down through the hex bead and it won't go through the other seed beads. So I'm just going to match up my loop, which is really important on this project because this is a convertible interchangeable base necklace. I'll show you what I mean. And I'm just going to say here while I'm doing this, stay to the end because I have a surprise add-on for this necklace that I am so excited about, and I think it's going to just be so beautiful. So as I said, it's quite important that both of these loops be this size and be identical, and I will show you why as soon as I get it crimped. So let me see, just really important. Really, really important that they're the same. Let me take my time here and get it the same. I'm going to get my magical crimping plier in here and crimp. And totally, if you like the fold over crimp method, that would work here. You probably would want to put a crimp cover on it, like a small crimp cover. I like this when I'm using seed beads because it does look magical. It makes a little bead. This tube makes a little bead, and it does look magical because it just looks like it's magically held together. So I like that. I'm just gonna get my bead nice and round, go around a few times. I apologize for the pausing. I am still coughing so much from this flu, and I'm having to continually pause and edit out the coughing. So my little base necklace is done, and I'm going to trim that as close as I can. And so I have this funky necklace with 2 loops on the end, and then this is what I'm going to build my add-on section. It is just a piece of satin cord. I tied a knot, used E6000 glue, and put it inside this Kumi end cap. And then I have used 2 jump rings that are really heavy duty twisted stainless steel and this little button. And so when I'm finished building my flower garden on this necklace, this button slides over this loop, and I'll build my necklace, do the same thing on this end, and it will attach to the other loop. And then I have an interchangeable piece here that I can make additional add-ons, change my colors. So I did my base necklace in my favorite metal. I just did it like a gold chain, almost a very petite gold chain. You could do this in your favorite metal, in silver or copper, whatever you wear the most of, because this necklace you're going to be able to add on to it. And the way that I'm accomplishing that, I just went to our craft store. If you're an American, you know about Hobby Lobby. Their buttons, they have everyday buttons that are $1.99 and buttons that are 99 cents. These are in the $1.99 category, but there are 6 buttons. So that gives me the opportunity to create some other add-ons for my necklace, and my buttons will all fit into these loops. So it's just a really fun interchangeable design. So I have my everything ready here for my second side, and I'll put links to everything that I can in the description box. And so I can go ahead and show you how I finished off this end. I just simply tied a knot, and that way this can be drying a little bit while I build my flower garden necklace. And I am so excited. I'll show you what I've done as an additional add-on at the end of the video. I'm going to just reach behind me and get some E6000 glue. Before I put the glue, I just want to make sure that my knot will fit. I need to remove this little bit of my cord. And I just like to make sure that my knot is going to be centered coming out of the end, and it looks great. And then I'm going to fill this little end cap with E6000 glue. You could probably use like Loctite gel control super glue here, but the reason I didn't choose that glue is I use this satin cord for bookmarkers and other things, and the gel glue tends to show on here, like it makes the cord look wet when it kind of runs down onto the cord. So I'm just gonna let that, just like that, just let my knot set up in there. That's what we have. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And my idea for this is I'm going to be using some wildfire beading thread. You could really use anything that you have. This is what I had on hand, and I have threaded a big eye needle here. I love big eye needles for certain things. To show you, if you're not familiar, there it goes. A big eye needle is really fine, like a wire, but it has an opening, so threading your needle, because I think that I may have to add in thread pretty often for this project. And so what I have out here is just a mixture of things to make a flower garden necklace. I literally raided my leaf storage, my leaf bin and my flower bin, and I pulled out all the small flowers that I think I might want in a flower garden, all the colors, some whites, some pinks. I even have this little ceramic bird, and when I'm all done, he may be a charm. I'm not sure if I'll use him yet, but it is spring, so pink and all the leaves blooming. I had a few of these little bugle beads left over from another project. These are galvanized 8/0 seed beads. I always like to spend a little extra on my metallic seed beads and get galvanized ones when I'm doing a project like this. And so my idea for this, let me just show you. I can also link this video if you didn't see it, but this is paracord, and I have beaded this rope and turned it into a bracelet. But I felt like it was a little bit chunkier than I might want, especially when I load it on flowers. So I've decided to use the satin cord for this, but I think I'm going to go the length, all the way down the length, and just put some knots in it. So that will give me like some highs and lows on my, when I start adding in flowers and leaves. So, you know, just I'll start with one right here at the end of my bead cap, and I'm going to just like leave a little bit of space and just run down the length of this cord, and I'll leave a little bit of space in between, like that. And I did give myself extra cord, and speaking of that, I didn't even measure this because you could really make your necklace any length that you want, and you can make your flower garden section any length that you want. Just, I am using glass flowers. I'm not using acrylic this time. I don't mind acrylic, but I'm not using them this time. And so just bear in mind, you'll have a little bit of weight with the glass flowers and glass leaves, and even if I put some metal leaves in. So that's why I didn't want this to be too long. But I'm also gonna like make use of that weight because this is an add-on section. So when I attach this to my, when I attach my button to my base necklace, come on, go on. When I attach it to my base necklace, having a little bit of weight here on my flower garden section is going to really keep it in place and keep it secure as I wear it. So I think that's going to work in my favor, but you know, I'm just like considering all of those parts of the design, the architecture of the design. So I'm just going to knot this whole length and stop chatting. So I am ready to build my flower garden or my garland, bearing in mind that this end is not dry, it's still setting up. So I'll start on this end, and I'm just going to take my threaded needle. I'm going to put a knot in the end, but I'm going to sew right on top of this, you know, sew right on top of everything. So you could even like not tie a knot around the cord. It's never going to be seen again, but I'm just going to get a little knot in the end. And I'm just going to start building my flower garden. So I'm going to come through one of my knots on my satin cord and just get started here. So I think I'm going to start with a leaf. I am also going to put some small, a few seed beads here in some different colors. I absolutely love getting the Adornable Elements Beads of the Month Club. These are from 2 months ago, these little lavender delicas, and these are from this past month's collection. They're the green rocaille beads. They're just so wonderful to have. I have a lot of random seed beads over the years, but I decided to rectify that by getting, I'm rotating the collections from Adornable Elements, but it's so organized, and I love getting a curated collection of seed beads every month. So I'm going to start with a few little purple seed beads for the base and add on one of my check glass leaves. And like I said, it's the weekend. This is the perfect weekend project to just build this flower garden bracelet, because it is going to take a little bit of time, and it's the kind of thing that you can get started and, you know, walk away from it, go do something else. I have an event with my son today. His doctor cleared him to go. He was so worried that he wasn't going to be able to go to his Lego event. But I'm just going to do this, like 3 seed beads, a leaf, 3 seed beads, and I'm going to stay on the right side of my little flower garden. And I'm going to build this just eyeballing it as I go, just adding on pieces. I did choose a color that I love because I don't know how much I'm going to fill it up, and so I think having, you know, some of the cord showing is going to be really pretty. And then let's see, let's go for a blue flower. And again, I'm just going to add like a couple of seed beads at the base, come up through my flower. I'm going to top this one off with a gold seed bead. Just let it drop down, and then I'm going to go back down through my flower and my two little base seed beads here, and back into my cord. I might have to change my needle. I love to use a big eye needle because I know I'm going to have to rethread a little bit, but maybe it's not going to play nicely with my satin cord. I do find that sometimes these needles don't go through, and I am so sorry, you guys. There's a lot of like elements that are going to go into this, and I pulled them all in a tray, but I know that it is hard for you to see what I'm doing with all that busyness behind the project. So my first 2 little guys are on, and I am going to see if I'm able to keep going with this needle, because I know that I'm going to need to add in thread a lot to get to the end of this little flower garden section. So I'm going to do a little orange flower here, and I think I'm going to go back to a gold seed bead in the middle, and I'm going to work my way down, making color choices and design decisions. Skip over that seed bead, go back down through that flower and my little green seed beads. This is going to be totally random, and I think that's going to make it really fun. Not stressful, just like whatever, you know, like a field of wildflowers, or, you know, a spring mix of flowers. When I was a kid, my sister and I used to get those seed packets that you would get, like all these different color flowers come up, and we would plant them and watch them grow. And this kind of reminds me of that. And this is really relaxing because you don't have to do this all at once. I'm hoping that by the end of the weekend, I have it done, and I'm just going to work my way like that, just adding in. I am sure that once I get to this end, I may want to go back down and fill in a little bit. That's what I did on these bracelets too. These I didn't want to see so much of my paracord underneath, but on this one, I don't mind because, you know, like I said, I chose a color that I really love. And so some of these, like this one, I'm going to do a little seed bead loop in the middle of this flower instead of just one gold bead. And just come out wherever I think that I might want to go. It's going to have a little, instead of a gold dot, just pull so you can see. Instead of a gold dot in the middle, it's just going to have a little seed bead cluster. And I might even do like right here is a good place to put a bugle bead or 2. Do a bugle and a green, just to add like a little look of like grass coming out, and go back down through leave the green seed bead, go back down through my little satin gold bugle bead, and go back through the cord. So the needle goes through the cord nicely. It's the knots it's having trouble going through. So maybe I'll still be able to work with it. But that is the start of my little flower garden necklace, and I am going to keep going. I also think that I might even just do some seed bead loops. So I even have more colors of seed beads in my tray here, and the reason that I do is because of the surprise add-on to this piece at the end. So I'm going to add a few more on my tray of what I had used in my add-on piece. And I think like here I'm going to do maybe a little loop. So just thread on, let me see how 9 look. So I ended up doing 15 to get the size loop that I like. And I'm just going to run my needle back down through my cord pretty close to where those seed beads are and pull it through. And so I just make a little loop, and you know, it just kind of looks like a flower petal. It's so lovely. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so fun. It is so fun. This is going to be one of those projects where when you get started, you think you're never going to get to the end, and then you're going to want to keep going because it is just so enjoyable. So I think I'm going to switch here to a little white flower, and I'm just going to keep going like this, just planting my flower garden. So on these leaves that are drilled side to side, I'm going to do 2 seed beads on either side so that when I pull it down, it makes it stand up on my cord. So let me show you. It looks like that, where I have 2 green seed beads, the leaf, 2 green seed beads, and then I'm going to go back down through my cord pretty near where I entered. And just pull that up through, and when we pull, it should make, if it's not tangled on everything, it should make that stand up beautifully. Okay, you guys, I'm almost to the end. As you can see, my tray is a lot more empty than it was, and this is what it's looking like. I've interspersed some of those gold metal leaf charms, and I've done some seed bead loops like here on the end. I changed the center of my flowers to different colors of seed beads. I've interspersed a few white ones in there, and I was trying to see if there was any techniques that I did that you might be interested in. It looks like it's all pretty straightforward. I just have a few left to go. I did change my needle to a number 10 needle and took off that big eye needle. It was causing me all kinds, no end of trouble. So I did do that, and I'm just going to finish up here with my last few beads, and I do want to tie this off and add on a whole nother length of thread, and I'm just going to go back down, and anywhere that I feel like I want to add a little something, like down here, maybe on this knot, I'm just gonna like work my way down the length of my piece here and just see, you know, where I want to fill in. So like on these beads, I did, because they're a little bit thicker, I did a 3 seed beads and just ran my needle. It was such a better stringing experience. I chose the big eye needle when I started this because I knew I'd be adding in thread a lot, and they are easier to thread, but this has made the stringing experience so nice. And I have to tell you, like, I've only been working about 2 hours on this, and I took a break for lunch. So it's not as labor intensive as it might seem. Like when you start, when you start off and your cord that has to be filled up is empty, it looks like it's going to take forever and like it might be really a labor intensive project, but it actually was not. It was actually really a pleasant stringing experience. I just really loved it. So I'm going to finish up my last few things, and I'm just totally choosing at random, trying to choose the next thing so that it's not close to the same of the previous thing that I beaded on, and just like a little bit at random here. That looks so great, and as I said, I'm going to just tie off underneath a flower, and I'm going to rethread my needle and just go back down the length and just fill in. I'm just going to make a little loop, get my needle through, make sure I'm not caught on anything. It looks like I might be. Okay, I'm going to add in just a small length of thread, flatten the end, and get it through my I have used this number 10 needle to death. It's crooked, but it works so great, and the little bends in it even help me to pick up the seed beads. So I just keep using it. The needle gods liked me today. They let me thread the needle. So I'm going to come to this end that I first started on and just get a little knot in my thread underneath the knot that I made in my satin cord, because when I held it up, I saw a few little areas that I wanted to add more to. I really like the weight of this, and the cool thing about this is if you choose a satin cord, honestly even paracord like I used on these bracelets, if you choose a color that you like that's working with your beads that you're adding in, you can let as much of it show as you want or hide as much as you want. For me, I started out thinking I would let some of it show, but I love the look of the flowers, the flower garden, so much that I just kept filling it up, and now I want to fill it up a little bit more. And like I said, not labor intensive as it might seem, a little bit daunting when you first look at it, but it's really not. It goes so quickly. And I will say something else about this design too while I'm going to get started here to fill in. For me, this is very busy, and I do most of the time lean towards minimalist jewelry. As much as I'm loving all the spring flowers and just it's really enjoyable, a lot of times that's just too much for me. But doing the design this way, where it's just a small section of a necklace, and the weight of this is just going to be at the bottom of the necklace, is so wearable for me. Like it's just really good. So I'm just gonna hold this up with my button closure. In fact, before I do that, let's go ahead and attach. I'll show you what I did on this end, and that will give me a really good idea what what I need to add in to finish it off. So these are stainless steel twisted jump rings. They are very difficult to open and close, but they also look really decorative, and it's a selection with a few sizes. So I have the, whatever this size is, I think it's 4mm, going on the loop on my end cap. And then I needed a larger size to accommodate that loop as well as my button. Open it pretty wide. They're very difficult to open, so I know this will add a lot of strength to my piece. And then I'm going to add this button. It will spin around, but I'm going to try to do it the same as my other side. And just close it. Oh, these are tough to close when you have something that you really want to keep it secure. Like, I do not want to lose my little flower garden off of my necklace. So now I can hold this up and kind of see where I need to do things, and I feel like I need to add a little bit on this end. So let me just kind of go down the length. Let's see where my thread is coming out. I'm going to go up, just come out of this knot right on the end, now that I've tied my knot and secured it. And you know, as you fill your thing up, you just have to watch where your loop is going, so you're not looping around things and ruining the way things are laying on what you've already done. So let's see, I think right here I want to do a couple more green and let's see, maybe one of these flowers. I have just 2 of these left, so I'll add them in a gold center. And I'm just gonna like hold this up and really have a look at my empty spaces, and just doing the same thing, skipping over that center bead and going back down through the flower and seed beads if I have added them, and then through my cord and pull. And so see, like right there, that thread looped over my little seed bead loop. It's kind of like a fantasy garden. I love those little loopy things. I don't know, they add to the wildflower feeling. So you just want to make sure when you're filling in that you know, you're not on top of something you don't want to be on top of. And I also have some other colors of bugle beads out here. I really loved the texture of adding in the bugle beads, but I didn't have many of the satin gold ones left. So as I go down my length, I think I'm going to add in a couple of these down the length as I go. And I think I'll top these off with a gold bead. These are so cute. These almost look like a tiny little shank button. In fact, they might be, and they're blush pink with an AB finish on them. And I didn't do any seed beads at all. I just ran my thread through the shank and then back down through the cord. And I had just 2 of those left, so I'm going to add those in as well. They are so sweet. I do not know where I got them. I have a huge bin with flowers, and I kind of hoard them, and I never destash them. So I have things that I don't always remember where I got it. It is all done. I'm totally in love with it. This is the happiest necklace. So I'm going to put my little loops right onto the buttons. And this necklace is ready to wear, except I did decide that I wanted to add my little bird in. Oh, this is so pretty. I do want to add my little bird. And so what I'm going to do, I have a really big jump ring here. It is a different collection. It is a stainless steel jump ring. These are also very tricky to open. And I'm going to do my little bird like offset. So I'm just going to find a little spot and wiggle this jump ring over my flower garden and hang my little bird in amongst the flowers and leaves. Because as everybody knows, that's where birds like to go. I am having so much fun with this project. I mean, this is just happiness. It's just pure happiness. It's sweet and joyful. It's a little bit over the top, but you know, it's kind of subdued because it's an add-in piece to a base necklace. In fact, let me see if I'll do better with 2 pairs of pliers to get my jump ring in here. Get it closed really well so I don't lose my bird. These are steel, and they're really heavy gauge, and they are not easy to open and close. But I got my little ring, kind of want to kind of hide it in here, just kind of nestle it down in the flowers, just like that. And then I'm going to add a smaller jump ring just for the orientation of the bird. It's a ceramic bird with a little loop baked into the bird. So this needs to go this way so that my bird will hang properly. And he's going to look like he's just dangling from the flower garden or in a flowering tree, or it's a metaphorical like spring garden. I love it so much. That is so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. He just hangs so cute from the bottom of my necklace. So cute. And then, as promised, I have a bonus, another add-in to this necklace. So this can be worn, and I know this is not the best way to see this necklace, so I will put some pictures at the end on a mannequin on Gabriella Eva. But I'm going to take this section off. This will lay in my jewelry box next to that blank cord, and I am working on a crazy little pendant. I have taken another one of those buttons, and this is a felt ball, a rather large one, and I just did a line of seed beads, looped it through the shank of the button and back down into the felt ball, and I have left my thread attached. I do have 2 other videos on different ways to make these beaded balls. I forget what I called them, but this one kind of looks like fireworks because I did really long bugle beads and long strands of seed beads, and I have flowers at the end of the lines of bugle beads. And so this is the exact same technique. I have my thread coming out here, and I'm just going to get a few more flowers, just get a few more things in the top, and I'll just show you how this turns out with a few more little flowers. Bead. And just I'm going to let it drop down to the base where my little ball is, and it's the same technique where you skip over the seed bead, put your needle through the flower and into the felt ball, and then just come out somewhere. And it's just like with the bracelet technique, the fuller it is, the trickier it is to find a spot to come out. So, but same thing as I did, just, you know, I'm just filling in like at the base because this is the top of this little sphere. So I want it to be really full around the top. So I'm going to come right here and do another line of my seed beads. This is a great way to use up like leftover seed beads if you had just bits and bobs, or you could do it all one color. Let me bring my little tray back in. I think I was doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 of those. So 1, 2, just counting so that all my little pieces will be the same. And it is the exact same thing. Skip over that seed bead, run your needle back through all of your beads and into the felt ball. You get different looks with this technique, with bugle beads, with delica beads, with rocaille beads. You can do it all the same. One of my projects that I have a video on, it's a very compact, like my strands are all really short, and you get a completely different look. I think I'm going to come right here on the top, just come back through, poke my needle through where I have that little empty space right there. And I'm going to just pop in one more flower since it's right near the top. Just one more, like maybe an orange flower. And one more gold seed bead. And then I'm going to tie this off and I'll show you the really cool way that it attaches to the base necklace. And because I have that card with buttons, I have more buttons that I can make more add-in sections for my base necklace in different colors. I'll be doing the same connection, but I'll have some different wearing options, and then I don't have to do a base necklace or do the seed bead part every single time. So that is that. It looks so great. Oh, I have a little space right here too. I think I'm going to do, what am I going to do here? So this was 3 bugle beads, and you can fill these up as much or as little as you want. They get a little bit heavier as you fill them up, but for this necklace design, that weight works in your favor to keep it attached. I'll show you as soon as I tie this off. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So on these, my flower was at the end of the bugle beads, and it's the same technique. Skip over the last seed bead, run my needle back down through the bugle beads and into the felt ball, and just come out, and I am ready to tie off. Okay, I've tied my knot, I've pulled my needle back through, and I'm ready to snip this. I have a little cat and a little dog, so I still have thread on here that can be used for another project, and a needle, so I am extremely careful about where I lay my needles. I have this little needle case that I just got at the craft store that has a magnetic bottom, and I can leave this threaded and my needle on and put it in this little magnetic box and close it and put it on my work card, and then I know my little cat will not get in trouble with the needle. So here's the cool thing with another wearing option with the base necklace with 2 little loops on the end. This button, this goes around your neck, and you loop both of these loops over the button to turn this into a pendant necklace. A little like firecracker flower ball pendant necklace. So it will hang around your neck like that. It's such a simple design, so easy, so fun to make. And like I said, you can do these as full and as heavy and chunky as you want, or you could do it smaller. I bought an assortment of felt balls or pom-poms, from really, really tiny ones to larger ones, and all different colors. So it gives you lots of options for making your little funky little beaded balls. And this is just such a fun, happy project. You go from something a little bit crazy and avant-garde to something a little bit more sweet and like a spring floral, and it's just super fun. So check the description box. I'll put links to everything that I know where I got it. Anything that I can link for you, I always do. I spend a lot of time on those description boxes. But pull out your seed beads in your favorite metallic color, do a base chain, and now I am ready. I have more buttons on the card, so I could do like an all white garden if I wanted to do this a little bit more elegant. I have, the option to keep creating, and this was just so fun. Fabulous weekend project. It's not as labor intensive as it looks, and I have just like beaded flower garden spring happiness here on my mat. I thank you all so much for watching. I hope everybody's safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, friends.